Most women do not realize they have a money problem in their 20s. They usually feel it later, in their 30s, when life gets more expensive, time starts moving faster, and the financial choices they made earlier begin to show up in ways they can no longer ignore. And the reason this hits so hard is that the problem rarely looks dramatic at first. It looks normal, responsible, even smart. A woman can be paying her bills, taking care of everybody else, keeping her life together, and still feel this quiet pressure in the background that never really goes away. She is not completely broke, but she is not as secure as she thought she would be by now. She has done what she was supposed to do, at least on the surface. But somewhere along the way, her money stopped growing in a way that gives her real freedom. And that is the hidden problem for a lot of women. It is not usually one huge mistake. It is a pattern that builds slowly over time. They save a little, but do not really invest. They earn money, but do not always negotiate for more. They keep everyone else's life moving, but leave their own financial future vague. They tell themselves they will get serious about money once they feel more confident, more educated, or more stable. And that sounds reasonable. It even sounds mature. But financially, it can be expensive. Part of why this happens is because many women are taught to move through life carefully. Be thoughtful. Be kind. Do not ask for too much. Do not seem selfish. Do not make things awkward. So money becomes something they manage quietly in the background instead of something they build around with intention. They are often excellent at being responsible in every area except the one that quietly shapes their future the most. And that is how the damage stays hidden for so long. It is not one bad decision. It is a long chain of small ones. A skipped investment that felt too small to matter. A salary negotiation that got delayed because it felt uncomfortable. Another year of waiting because the timing did not feel perfect. A habit of putting everyone else first and assuming there will always be more time later. The truth is, money does not wait for clarity. It keeps moving whether you feel ready or not. That is where the math becomes personal. Money that is invested earlier has more time to grow, and money that is delayed loses that time forever. So two women can earn similar incomes, live similar lives, and still end up in very different places later, simply because one started earlier and one kept waiting. And the worst part is that waiting usually does not feel expensive while it is happening. It only feels expensive later, when she is trying to catch up, build security, and create breathing room all at once. That is why so many women in their 30s feel this strange kind of pressure they cannot fully explain. They are not lazy. They are not irresponsible. They are just realizing, sometimes all at once, that being late to the game costs more than they were ever taught to expect. Financially strong women think about money differently. They stop asking, "Am I ready yet?" and start asking, "What is this costing me if I wait?" That one question changes how they spend, save, and invest. Money is no longer only about this month. It becomes about future freedom, future stability, and future options. They stop treating money like something they will figure out later and start treating it like part of adult life now. That is usually where the real shift happens. They build systems instead of relying on moods. They automate savings instead of hoping they will remember. They invest consistently instead of waiting for the perfect moment. They stop depending on motivation to do what should be routine. Because motivation comes and goes, but systems stay in place. And confidence usually comes after action, not before it. That is one of the biggest lessons here. The goal is not to become perfect with money. The goal is to become consistent enough that your future starts feeling safer. And maybe that is the part a lot of women need to hear most clearly. Being financially serious is not selfish. It is how you protect yourself. It is how you make sure your future self is not constantly paying for your present hesitation. It is how you stay strong enough to support other people without disappearing in the process. You do not need to become a finance expert overnight, and you do not need to do everything at once. You just need to stop acting like your money life can stay vague forever, because it cannot. If you want real security, real options, and a future that feels less fragile, at some point you have to begin. And if you are in your 30s and feeling behind, that does not mean you failed. It usually means no one ever showed you clearly how these quiet money patterns work. But once you can see them, you can change them. That is the real beginning. Not perfection. Not pressure. Just awareness first, then action. If this clicks something into place for you, I'd love to have you here for the next one. And if you missed the previous video, watch that first so this all connects properly.